Oops, forgot to add myself to the stream. Hi, guys. How are you today? I hope everybody's doing well. I was trying to free up a little storage in my drive here so that I could actually record today. So, wasn't sure if that was going to work or not. Good to see you, Cindy. Good to see you, Robin. Good to see you, Kelly and Caroline. You all tell everybody where you're from. Say hi. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know that you can hear me today. Hopefully everything's good, doing well. Linda, I do think I have an answer for your question today. And I'm going to start with that one. Um, and I don't have I do have to open up one more thing so I remember what questions were asked because I did actually see some posted besides Linda's that got sent to me via email. I don't know why, but they didn't show up till late, like 10 minutes ago for me. So it's kind of weird. So good to see you all. Thank you for joining me today. We are, as always, talking about any brother software program that we have. So I'm going to share my screen here. When we want to go with a window, actually entire screen, screen two. Linda had a question. She wanted to know how to bring in an outline to make it go entirely around this. Whoops, I actually have to get this over on the right place. Entirely around this design without evenly spaced. She was having a hard time getting an oval around there evenly spaced. Well, I am going to, first of all, basically delete your oval that you have up here. You can work with this one, but I'm going to go ahead and get rid of it so that I can tell you how I would do it. Okay. So I am not a grid person, but you can certainly put a grid up there if you want to. I'm going to turn off my grid so that I can play around with it and know what we want. What I would personally do is draw myself a little line. Okay, so figure out where your widest spot is, and I'm going to go with one of the sides. And it would be at one of these points right here. So I am going to grab my line drawing tool and change it just to a running stitch, or you can even have it not sewn. I just want to have a space to basically to draw by. So line drawing tool, double click, and then select it. And I'm going to copy that and paste it right down here at the thickest spot of this place. And then bring it down a little bit further. So now I'm going to zoom out so we can see what we're working with. And let's just kind of go to the bottom half of this. And I would select it again because this is the only way I can think of that you can truly get it to where it's evenly spaced all the way around. So I'm going to take that and move it, and then we'll rotate that and move it out just a hair. So this way we're working with the same size line. The problem with your shape is that it's not a linear shape. So basically putting a grid up does nothing to help us. We need something that allows us to figure out what we want it to do. And this will give you that guide. And then I'm going to take it and move it down here and rotate it again. And then we're going to do a cheater step next. So that's my tip point for that one. And let's zoom out and grab. Actually, we can get rid of our original one here. So the first thing I'm going to do is come and grab those pieces that I put in there, click my select tool in my sewing order window, and then go to my home tab up here at the top and choose arrange copy and horizontal mirror copy. And then I can pull this to where it goes to the center here. And you'll notice that you're basically lined up exactly as you are at the bottom half, left click, and it is inserted. So now you've got both sides of this. Go ahead and do arrange copy again, and this time do vertical mirror copy. Bring your cursor in and put it in the center of this design. Now, she has created a split design, and that's why it's a little bit, that's why you see the red dashed lines. It's a split design. Now it looks like I've got one or two that may not be in the right spot, so I'm just going to kind of move those in with my control key on my keyboard. That nudges them where I want them to be. And let's zoom in on this guy. I may not have had my cursor smack dab where it needed to be. It looks like I did not. So let's put that right like that. And we're basically just creating ourselves a guide. And then the next part's pretty easy. So there we go. That should be darn close to what we need. Yeah, I was slightly off on my side here. Okay, so now that we have that, let's go grab our shapes tool and grab the oval tool, okay? And you would turn off your fill stitch and change your stitch to a running stitch is what you wanted. And then I'm just going to pick a different color. Hold your left mouse button down and draw yourself an oval. Now, like I said, it may not be the exact size you need it to be. We're going to get kind of close to where we want it to be. And you want it touching those points at the top and the bottom and the side, because those are going to be that's your guide basically. Oops. There we go. So now click your select tool, your select point tool, and I'm going to put myself a guideline. You can make yourself a guideline over here on your page ruler. And I want it basically to hit between those two guys right there. So now we can left click there to add a point and pull that straight out. Do the same thing on the opposite side, left click there and pull it straight out. And then do the same. We're going to do the same thing up here at the top. I'm going to create myself a guideline. And then I'm going to click right here in that spot and move to add an edit node and move that point out. And do the same thing over here. Oops, I'm hit it in the wrong thing. So let's undo. If you delete it, we'll collapse it. So just undo. Left click right there. Move that out. And you now have your oval that should be basically the same width all the way around. Then you can get rid of those lines that you put in initially. So select them in your sewing order window, click the select tool, move your cursor into the window and press delete. And there you go. So although it looks kind of funny here on the sides, it is the same shape all the way around. And that's the closest I can get it for you, Miss Linda. So hopefully that one makes a little sense. And I mean, because there's no way to measure otherwise, that those little lines just gave you that enough nudging to where you could go all the way around. So you want me to show you how to do the guidelines again? Hold on just a second. So if you add a guideline, you just simply left click on the page ruler. As long as your page ruler's up, you can turn them on and turn them off. Okay. And hopefully that will help you get yours done the way you want it to do. Now, let's see here. What was next on my list? Somebody asked, can the PE Design workbook be used for the version 10 workbook be used for version 11? Yes, it can. Now, it's not, the only difference is not just sending wirelessly, okay? P11 did not PE Design 10 did not have decorative fills in it. It did not have the Stitch Design Factory in it. It did not have the ability to move your hoop settings. It did not have the convert region to lines. And let me look and see what else it didn't have. It didn't have the hoop settings. It didn't have the converting regions to lines. So if I click on my line tool, that line right there, if I have a fill stitch on here, let's say I have a concentric circle stitch. It did not have convert regions to line. It did not have the concentric circle stitch, and it did not have decorative fills, and it did not have the flexible spiral stitch. So those are the items that are different in PE Design 10 versus PE Design 11, okay? I'm not going to save that. Now, somebody's here from Kyoto. Wow. Welcome. What was the next one? What was our other question? Let me see here. Is it possible to take older cutwork designs and digitize them to use with cutwork needles using PE Design 10? Yes, there is. Having said that, it only works with the 10 needle, okay? So the 10 needle, the original 10 needle, not even the 1055, no. The original 10 needle had an upgrade kit that added cutwork needles. So that is the one that allows you to do that. And so you have to select a multi-needle hoop. So for instance, let's see here. Let's say we did a dump them. Let me just draw. Let's just make us a little flower here. I'm going to grab that, and I'm going to come in and choose Arrange Copy, and we're going to choose the Circle Copy tool. So my Circle Copy tool lets me make shapes, and I'm going to say I want to do the number, and I want 5 petals. Oops. And then we're going to bring it in here, and we're going to draw our circle. And as we let go, so I got too far, so I'm going to right mouse click that. That lets me remove what I've got in there. There we go. That's what I want. So I'm going to left mouse click, and there's my circles. Now, to make it work for cut work, you would have to choose the hoop settings, choose a multi-needle hoop, and click OK. Now, if I go to the cut work wizard, that allows you to choose the cutting stitch, and you can add a net fill in it as well. You can have a zigzag net fill. You can have your covering stitch and click OK, and there you go. That's your cut work pattern. So the cut work wizard really only works. Oh, there, Leanne, I didn't catch that. So, and you're in, my goodness, you're in Kyoto this week. That's a fun trip. But that allows you to do cut work. And you'll notice over here, it shows a needle in your sewing order window. And that's the section that would cut. So it, it basically is giving you the idea of what will cut. So if you have a flatbed machine and you're talking about doing cut work needles, then that's not going to show up on your machine. You would have to manually change the angles. The thing about the 10 needle that had the cut work capability is it had 4 needles that you designated to cut work, and it just switched between those needles. So this one doesn't tell you what kind of angle to switch to, and ours just don't do that because we don't have that for our machine at this time. Okay, let's see here. Next question was, let's see. Letters with a long tag, Francis. Long tail. Let me see what, I'm assuming you're meaning this. So let me see what that would be. So if you're in PE Design 11, or actually PE Design 11. So this is another difference in 11, kind of. Let's see here. Let's say we want Cindy, and I want the C to have a long tail on it. Okay, so what I have to do first is we would have to convert, let's see here. We'd convert the text to blocks. Okay. And then you right mouse click and ungroup so that you can work with it. And let's go and zoom in on our C. So let's say we want that C to go underneath here. I can select the select point tool and click on my text, click on the letter I want to adjust, and then I can highlight those points and kind of take them down here and then add ones that I want to do. So then I can make my shape, adjust my shape the way I want it to be. If you have artwork, it is much easier to work around with this than it is if you're trying to do this from just eyeballing it, just so we're clear on that. And I truly am just eyeballing this right now. And I'd take out a few of these. Actually, quite a few. Oops. Didn't want my directional arrow. So it all depends on what you want it to look like. Not my finest work, but you get the concept. Now, if I want to kind of come in here and adjust that angle, you can see that there are direction lines in here already, but let's say I don't like the angle of the stitch. And if we zoom in on that stitch, you'll be able to see how that angle, it's angled this direction. And the reason it is I see I have an extra point right here. So let's delete that point. That should help it. And then you can adjust that angle. But if that didn't fix it, you can always click on it, right mouse click and say add a direction line and drag and draw yourself in a direction line. So click on one side, click to the other, and there you go. You've got your direction lines added in, and you can see how my stitches have adjusted themselves on that. All right. Somebody else had a question about in the Education Connection group. I briefly saw this and I did not totally pay attention to exactly what you were doing, but actually I did pay attention. I just don't have anything on my computer at this point that I could show you what you wanted, I don't think. But we can go to our import window and look. In the import window, I'm going to choose from folder, and let's see if we have something in here that I might be able to find. Let's say those are my applique. Okay. So here's a thought. She had an applique and she only wants to do the applique part. She doesn't want to do any of the other parts. So this is a design that is an applique, and I don't want to do my tail here. And I don't want to do the eye. This is just a for instance. Just imagine it's more complex than what I have here. If I go to my Stitches tab and I divide by color, it will break it down into color segments. You can then delete anything that you don't want to stitch. So in my sewing order window, I'm going to click on the tail and the eyeball and click select, move my cursor in and press delete on the keyboard. And now those will no longer stitch. Okay. Oops. Sorry, guys. Yes, I still sell the P design book. It's called Digitizing So Easy for version 10. Okay, so let's see what else was there. Lucky you've got the PR 1000 with the cut work upgrade. I had it at one time, but then I upgraded to, I guess I've upgraded twice now. I've had the original 10 needle, and then I had the PR 1050, and now I've got the 1055. So there's quite, I kind of missed the cut work needles, but I didn't use it that much, I'll have to say. Sometimes it's more trouble than it's worth. All right, so let's see here. What was the next question? All right, what are the differences between, oh my goodness, you don't want much. What are the differences between the programs and when would I use them each? Okay. Simply Applique is an introductory program. Okay. It is the base level of being able to create an applique with an FCM file and send an applique that has an FCM file, send that FCM file over to your scan and cut for cutting. It has 10 or 11, maybe 12 fonts in it. We'll have to go look. But it is what it is. It says it's simply applique, and it is simply applique. There are not a lot of advanced tools in it. It is an entry level product. BES Blue is a really good customizing program. It is the base level of BES 4, which means it has the capability of bringing in FCM files, fancy cutting machine files, or fabric cutting machine files, or fiber cutting machine files, however you want to remember it, the scan and cut files, and turning those into an applique. It has word collage. It has a batch format converter. So if you needed to convert from one format to another, you can go in there and just basically select it and then select all the formats you want it to go to. Bam, you're done. It has the alpha mapping in it. It has, all kinds of different ways to manipulate your text. It allows you to combine items on screen. It has curved text. It has spiral text. It has text on a path. It has about 200 fonts built into it as well. And it has the ability to draw your shapes and edit your shapes. It has a line drawing tool in it. So if you wanted to create your own applique from artwork, you can do that. It has garment preview, and it's got about 899 built-in designs in it as well. It has split letter fonts. It has accent designs, regular designs. There's all kinds of stuff built into it. So it's a step up, a really good step up from Simply Applique. The applique module is in BES Blue. It has more, you have more capability with it. The remove overlaps feature on it works a little bit better. You have the ability to preserve things as stitches. So if you want to get rid of a part of something, you can do that easier with BES Blue. BES 4 is a step up from BES Blue. Now, BES Blue has one activation code, and that's one activation code. BES 4 is the one that goes wireless to the Dream Machine, to anything with an SD port, or actually anything with a USB port, because you can put the SD card into the USB adapter that came with it. It has the capability of being upgraded. So it has everything that Blue has in it. It has 2 activations and 6 deactivations. So I can add more and I can add, let's see, I get a new computer. I can deactivate it off one computer and activate it on the new computer so that I don't lose an activation. I would lose a deactivation, but I won't lose an activation. So technically you could have it running on 2 computers and go forward 3 times. It also has the ability to add power packs to it. So there's 3 of those. The first power pack added nap control and convert to decorative fills and convert to runs. And the being able to split designs for the jumbo frame for the 10 needle. It added more BES cloud features. Oh, by the way, it has a complementary program that comes with it that allows you to work in the cloud for editing on the go. So it's called BES Cloud, and you got more features with the BES Cloud. So you could send multiple designs from the cloud. You could align things in the cloud. It gave you more cloud features. It also has the second power pack was all about the scan and cut, all about artwork. Basically, it's artwork tools. So it gave you a knockout, weld, the ability to create rhinestone designs. And you basically could add rhinestones to your embroidery because you could see where they were going to go. What else did it do? And it gave you the ability to design for the roll feeder. So there were a lot of things that it brought into the mix. The third power pack was templates. So there are basically built-in templates that you can use to customize for your design. So let's say you had a baby gift that you needed to make. There are baby templates in there that you can just plug in the different names and pick different elements to put in with it. The artwork also gave you the ability to use the word collage in artwork mode, and it allowed you to bring in your own shapes. It also allowed you to bring in an SVG file to use to convert to appliques. P Design 11 is our full-fledged digitizing program. It has 120 built-in fonts, so the ability to use TrueType fonts. Oh, BES, both of the BESs allow you to use your TrueType fonts on your computer. It has font mapping. It has you have some more editing capability. You have the ability to digitize from the ground up. So it gives you the fill stitches and things like that. Simply applique BESs, they don't give you that option. You have to work a little bit harder to get that. Okay. So that those are the main differences. When do I go to one? Well, if it's something that I know that I want a beautiful font for, then I am all about BES4. Okay, or blue, either one. Be, because it gives me it gives me easier results with some really nice, beautiful fonts that are beautifully digitized fonts. It also, they have font category filters, so it's easier to find what you want as far as the font goes. So I like that one. And I can create my own custom categories. So if there's fonts that I use all the time and I want to have my favorites, I can set that up and have that work. If For me, like I said, Simply Applique is a starter program. So if you think you're going to grow into that and it's not just applique that you want to do, then BES Blue would be the next point. That would be the next step up. If you've got BES4, you don't need BES Blue. If you got BES Blue, you don't need BES4. Because you're going to have the basic same features. The difference is 4 can be upgraded with power packs and 3 can't. That's the main thing. Okay. But if you're wanting to digitize, then that is the PE Design, because that allows you to bring in artwork and create your own stuff. And you're not, unless you're not able to do that to the same extent with the BES programs. Now I can take a fill stitch that's in there, that's in a pattern already, and I can adapt that shape and turn it into something, but I have to work quite a bit harder. And my time, I would prefer to work smarter instead of harder. So pick the program that works. They have enough different features in them, and enough, the fonts are very different, that I find they're very complementary to each other. If I'm converting designs, I'm going to BES. I can batch convert it and I don't have any error messages. It's going a wonderful way to go. Okay. Let's see here. There are line fonts, running stitch fonts in BES, but you'll look under run stitch fonts. Let's go look, Margaret. I'm trying to remember which one it would be. You can see this is my cheat sheet as to what somebody was asking today. So let's see here. If I go to the BES program, let's just put in Cindy. Let me change from artwork to standard, because I was working in artwork mode, and let's apply first of all. Now let's go see if let's look at our font category filter. Run fonts. There we go. You have Girly Curls. You have Jax, Run Block, Run Kitty, Run Script, and Wrap It Up. Those are the ones that are running stitch fonts. Is that what you're asking, Miss Margaret? Is that what you wanted to know? Those are the ones that you would go for. How to create a gradient in 10 and 11. Yeah, okay. So I can't show you in 10 because 10 doesn't work on this computer for me for some reason. My upgraded dongle will not hold on to it, and I don't know why. But I can show you in 11. It's the exact same as it would be in 10. Okay. So a gradient fill. Yes, Joanne, it does have the monogram features. So it has a monogramming program built into it. Okay, so which is right here. There's a monogram designer built in both. There's a name drops feature in the BES software and also in the BES Blue. So this is your monogram. You can do single font, multiple fonts. You've got different templates, styles, and we'll do that another day. I'm not going to hit that one right now unless somebody has that one come back. I'm going to answer my question first here. Um, let's see here. Those are the ones we have, Margaret. There aren't any more complex one, and there's none that are straight lines here in P Design except for this one right here. And it's an outline font, but it's not, that's it. Okay, so a gradient. I'm just going to go with a circle tool so you can understand what we've got. Let's say I have a circle and I want this to be shaded in colors. In your sewing attributes window, you want to choose to expert mode. And then you should see the ability, where is that? Oh, there it is, gradation. So here's your gradation. Now, one thing that you want to keep in mind is you want to make sure that you go along the edge run so that you don't have an undersewing on it here. That you don't want undersewing on this so that it will not hit it. You're going to choose pattern. And you'll notice I have a single color gradation, so there's no stitches in this white space. If I want a second color, I put a check mark in front of blend, and then I pick the color that I want it to blend with. So let's say we want it to blend with green, just so you can see really well. We'll click OK, and then click OK. We'll come back in here and change this in a second, but this is going to give you an idea. I'm going to go into stitch mode so you can see more of what it looks like. Let's zoom in here. So you can see I've got black line. Maybe we need to change that to a different color. Let's see here. What might work? Pink. There you go. So now you can see the dark lines and you can see the light lines. Let's go in and grab it again. And let's go grab a different pattern. So this is our pattern that we can select from, and you can change the direction of your stitch here. These are preset options, and you'll notice it's a little heavier on this end and it's much lighter on this end. Let's go hit it again. But if you don't like any of your presets, you can always adjust it yourself as well. So you can say, all right, I think I want it lighter in the center and I want my edges heavier. And you'll notice how the edges here have gotten heavier, and the center, you'll see fewer dark spots. Now let's go in realistic preview, and let's go to our view settings. Y'all, we probably not played in this. Realistic view settings. When you're playing with gradation, and if you're doing photo stitch, then change that thread width to thin. This just is a way to allow you to see how it blends. And let's go one more down in between. So you can see that they blend a little bit better that way. Okay. And that's how you do gradation in the software. Yes, you can upgrade from version 10 to version 11. That's the only version that can actually upgrade to version 11. So Lisa, that answers your question there. Let's see here. And you've got a great piece of software. BES Blue is a wonderful little program. Let's see here. Isn't it easy? I mean, the monogramming feature is super simple to use, and it's got all kinds of little decorations to use in it with it. It's, you can do frames, you can do decors, you can have fun with it. It's quite a nice little feature. Let's see here. Let me see. What was my last question here? Actually, we've already done that. So blend colors, red and white feathering. I may not have answered your question then. You would, if I didn't answer that question the way you wanted it, let me know and I'll try again next week. Trying to think, what else did we want to cover today? Yes. Okay. Yeah. So I did get your question. Yes. Take that underlay off because it doesn't do very well with it. You get all kinds of stuff going underneath there and it doesn't have that ability of blending together. All right. Guys, those are your questions that came in this week. Judy, you sent one, but I sent a response and you didn't send it back. I need to know what artwork you're wanting to do. And unless I see the artwork, it's hard for me to answer the question that you wanted to answer, that you were trying to get the answer to. So, um, yes, you could tweak the gray. You certainly could. So, good question, Joanne. Let's say we wanted a, I'm just doing basic shapes today, guys. So let's say you wanted to put a Mylar design. Let's go back into pattern and let's turn off that blend. And then you could put it at like 50% for all of them. So let's just say 50. 49 is fine. Click OK. And there you go. So you have a nice light fill. Make sure that that edge run is going along that outside edge. Otherwise, you will not like that feel. Okay. You could have also, and if that's too heavy for you, you could certainly take the maximum down to 28%. It's going to thin it out. So that's a super easy way to do that. Let's go see what we've got in our import window that we might be able to adapt to that. Go to up here and choose outline shapes. We have all kinds of little outline shapes in here that are fun to play with. Let's say events. How about, how about we do a star today? Because it's about time for stars and stripes. You can go back into your sewing attributes because this is an outline. You can just come in and put your gradation on. And it went to the default. So let's change the color so we can see it. I hate that pops up in a separate window. Let's go to orange. And that minimum and maximum, actually take this one up to where it matches. Click OK. There you go. You might want to change the start and stop entry and exit point on this one. So if I choose entry and exit, let's see if I change this, if it makes a difference. Actually, it wants me to go around this way for some reason. Doesn't make much of a difference. It's still leaving that jump spot. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. Okay. Let's see here. You can use those balloons that you bought for Valentine. Hey, yeah, I bought my husband a balloon this year for Valentine's Day. So you could use your Mylar balloons as well. Can I address how to get stuff into Simply Applique? By stuff, do you mean FCM files, Deborah, or do you mean embroidery designs? So let me answer that question for me, and I'll flip over to Simply Applique and let you know. Simply Applique is here. You have built-in designs in your Add Design category and Artwork or FCMs. Yes, I'll show you that. So these are all the built-ins. To bring in an FCM shape, go to the Application button, which is the little A, and choose Import FCM File. Find an FCM file on your computer, and then build your design. So these are my separate parts for this one. And I'm going to put them together here. That would be a leaf. I'm just making them the color I need that I want them to be, just so I can kind of get an idea where things are. Oops. Control and the arrow key let you nudge. If you get real close and there you go. So see, now I'm nudged. And then I can take this guy and move him in right here. So now let's change his color to something else as well. And let's change the flower color to something else as well. All right. You can convert them all at once if you want, or you can do them one at a time. It's up to you. If I do Control A, go to my Tools tab, I can then say Convert to Applique. There you go. So it's converted it, and even though I called that green a minute ago, it changed the color. That's okay. If you click down on the color tile that's there, you can change color 3 to green, and that will change what you want. I want this one to be color 3 to be orange, and I want this one color 3 to be green. And I want my bunny, we'll make it pink. Or let's see what this will do. There we go. And let's make our nose black. That's just a visual thing for me. Does it really matter? No. Now, if you want to make sure that your outlines cover your applique, here's the thing. I always cut my appliques from the embroidery file that I create. I do not do it the other way. But let's say we want, I've got to remember, inset percentage. So you want to change your inset percentage. Let me show you what I'm talking about. If we look at this right now, do you see how this line right here is in the center? That's the inset percentage. If I increase that inset percentage to about 80% or 70, let's change it to 75. You'll notice that that is going to go to that exterior portion. See how that moves that out? And that did it for everything. So it moved everything out just a little bit, which will allow your applique to meet. Once you've done that, however, you need to click off of everything and realign things up. So I need to hit my nudge key in here again. There we go. Let me nudge this one. I'm just using the arrow keys on my keyboard. So now I want to try to remove overlaps. And sometimes this works well, sometimes it doesn't. We'll see what happens today. Let's grab it all, right mouse click on it and choose, oh, can't do that. We're going to have to grab this one. Right mouse click on it and say removed overlap stitches. You want your overlap distance to be 0 because you don't want any overlap on this. And there you go. So you can see that it has removed my overlap, except for I have a little tidbit right there. Not optimal. So let's undo and let's see if we can adjust that shape. So we've got the tools. Let me hit my select tool here and go to my tools tab. Come on, there we go. And we can edit that shape to where those little green pieces don't stick out. Move the little edit nodes. And then right mouse click away from it. Ooh, I don't like what I just did there. Let's see. Right mouse click. We're close. There's 2 dots right there on top of each other. We don't need 2 on top of each other. Right mouse click away from it and you should be pretty good. Let's move this one. Right mouse click and there you go. So now it should remove the overlap pretty well. Remove overlap stitches, distance of 0. And nope, got a little bit still right there. So I would probably go back in, but you see how I did it. You basically edit your shape. So if I click on this line right here, and you can see why that little tidbit went up right there. Right click. Now notice how your line's back in there. That's okay. Remove your overlap stitches, take it down to 0. Now, having said this, I personally would do this one last thing before I remove my overlap stitches because I would have to come back in here and do this if I don't. So remember I said the scan and cut feature, you would send your artwork back out to make sure it's the same size as your applique. So I would click off of everything and touch the scan and cut key, and these are my pieces that I would cut. All you have to do is separate them out, okay? But you'll notice that I have this little piece of gray and it would be up underneath that thread, and that's not optimal. So what I would tell you is grab your edit shape tool, right mouse click right here. Actually click on that. It's not going to let me do that. Oh, sorry. That's not a simply applique feature. That is a BES feature. So in BES, if I did the same thing, I could open my line right there. I could open my shape. I can't do that in the BES Blue. So what you could do though, let's go to our home tab, add a design, because I do like you to know what you can do. So let's see here. Let me grab this little guy and let's delete everything besides that one of those wings. So I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm going to get rid of the light blue, and then we'll go down to just the wing. I'm holding my control key down. So I've got just this wing right here. And what I can do is I can edit the shape of this to make it to where it fits over the top of that. Let's go to our Tools tab and choose the Edit Shape tool, and you can manipulate this to where you can get it sitting over the top of that gray. You may have to move some entry and exit points, but that's okay. And so you can see how I've got part of it there. Let's take this and move this in. I'm going to take these and move them down here. The only time you have to be fussy is when you get around another area. So now let's select that. My top part there needs a little work. Let's go zoom in here. And let's go back to the select tool in our tools tab and edit shape. And the same thing, guys, works in BES, in your BES programs. And basically, I'm just trying to make sure I get all those stitches that are underneath there. Okay. That's good enough for government work right now. Oops, got a little bit more down there. Let me zoom in. But in BES, you can kind of work smarter, not harder. I wouldn't have to work quite as hard as I'm doing right now, but okay. So now it looks like all of our items are covered. Let's zoom out and select it, and let's remove overlap stitches. Take your distance down to 0 and click OK. Your little lines are still going to be there, but if you look, my gray is mostly removed. I could have finessed that a little bit more and made it work, but it's basically blown away. I mean, it's done. The other thing that I could, if I were in BES Blue instead of simply applique, so let's say, let me just save this file. And I can bring it into BES so I don't have to recreate the wheel. Let me do a save as, and we will call this Bunny How many have I got up here? Let's call it bunny 4. All right, let me bring that into BES. And this works in blue or 4, either one. So let's open up that bunny. Let me see. Bunny 4. There we go. So here I am in BES. So as I was telling you, there are a few differences. So if I come right here, once again, let's grab the bunny shape. I should be able to edit this and say split line. So this is one of those big differences. That split line then allows me to delete everything underneath here. Then right mouse click and that section is gone. So instead of having to work around trying to figure out how to get that in there, that section is gone. Once you've done that, then you would want to, let's right mouse click here and ungroup for a second. Then you would want to remove your overlaps because it took that remove overlaps away since it was a BRF file. Okay. You could also, or I could have split it line. But before you split it line, make sure you send that scan and cut file over because you still want that scan and cut portion of it there. The other thing that BES allows me to do that Simply Applique does not is, let's say I'm going to do all BES versions. So let's say I want to draw whiskers. If you want curved lines, and this works in all 3 programs, hold the control key down. Right mouse click to finish the line. You can then copy it. If you hold the control key down on the keyboard, it creates a copy. Or you can copy and paste, Control C, Control V, or go to the Home tab and do it. Any of those ways. So I'm basically making myself some whiskers here. And I'm going to come and grab those 3 items. Let's see, do I have this on here? Arrange on, no, can't do that. Okay, so we're just going to copy it. Hold that control key down and take it over here. And then I'm going to go to my Arrange tab and I'm going to flip it and move it where I need it to be. So there's my whiskers, and you can move them underneath your nose, whatever you want to do, but we want to turn those into running stitches. If you have Power Pack 1, you can convert to runs, but if you don't, you still can do this. Convert to applique, change it from a satin to a run, apply it, and then right mouse click and preserve as stitches. Then delete everything but the first stitch of each color, of each one. So there's that side. Evidently I didn't preserve that one as stitches. Preserve as stitches. So anytime it says applique, that means, so basically I'm preserving as stitches so that I can get rid of the other 2 parts of it. Fiddle-dee-day. Now we can get rid of, hold the control key down and get rid of those pieces. And then you can change all of those colors to black. There you go. Now you have it done. Now you have it done. And that's how, I mean, that there are workarounds around everything. It's just, you have to think about it. And you have to figure out how you actually want to go. So yes, Anne, please. As Anne says, don't forget to like, share this to your Facebook channel, or excuse me, share this to your Facebook page. Follow me, ring the bell, do all those wonderful things because it does help. It helps growth. And we're getting close to what I would like to hit this month. So, um, on the, what have we got? Okay, so this weekend is a big event. Joanna is joining myself, Angela, Rhonda, Karina, and who did I forget, Joanne? Joanne, me, Angela, Karina. Oh, Reen. And I am totally forgetting somebody. My goodness. My brain is shot. Let's see if I can let me find that post. But we have 6 instructors, 6 projects, and I think you will enjoy the day. It's all day Saturday. Every hour is a different instructor. Let me see. Who am I forgetting? I'm looking. So let's see here. Who did I forget? Joanne, Rhonda, Reen, Karina, myself, and Angela. I had them all. I just didn't count them right. So yes, we're having an extravaganza. Everybody has a different project. I think you all will thoroughly enjoy it. If you can't join us live, you can always watch the replay. It is here. There's your coupon code from me. So I will put this in the comments so you guys can see it. That way you can just click on the link. That should help you a little bit. We are doing coasters 2 ways for me. And they're both in the hoop, but they're totally different. So I think you will enjoy it. So it was Rhonda I was forgetting. I couldn't remember who was I forgetting. So yes, it is easier than sewing the whiskers. I think you all will enjoy it. It should be a day full of fun for you. Everybody has instructions written along with their embroidery design files. You need a 5x7 hoop. Mine, you can do a 4x4 or a 5x7. I have 2 sizes for you. So depending on what machine you have, depends on which size you'd be able to make and which kind of wine glass you'd be able to stick yours into. If you watch on, I'm hoping Monday I'm releasing a new product. I hope. Tomorrow in the Education Connection, we will be doing a live, and you guys will get a sneak peek. So be sure and join us tomorrow. I think you're going to enjoy it, and y'all will get the Education Connection group will get a special coupon, a discount. Okay. So yeah, lots of files are included, lots of fun. We hope that you will enjoy it. Coupon codes for this week. Yes, somebody asked, did I still sell the version 10 workbook? Oops, wrong coupon code. Hold on. Version 10 workbook is what I sell for version 11 because I do not have a version 11 workbook. I have not written that. That takes a lot of mental capacity for me. And as you all know, my life in the past couple of years has not been great in a great space to have that. Lettering So Easy. The coupon code for that is LET4. That will work for both BES Blue and Lettering So Easy. The different BES4. The difference will be you will not have any of the Power Pack features, and you will not have the wireless features, and you will not have BES Cloud. Okay. There's no sense in me rewriting that wheel because it's done. And that's just 2 products that I'd have to keep on hand versus 1. So what time tomorrow is 1:00. We are doing the scan and cut and machines that have My Design Center that do not have the My Connection capability. So Heather will be working on a Dream machine, and I will be working on the 10 needle this time. So we're trying to include in other groups. Having said that, if you have a Luminaire, could you do it this way? Yes. If you have a Stellaire, could you do it this way? Yes. Stellaire, you'll use your app instead of the scan board, or you would bring it in. I'm going to work with JPEGs, and she's going to work with the scan board. So we're going to show you a few different ways that you can do that, can actually get the whole thing. So I think you will enjoy it. It is kind of like a mini sewing vacation. You don't have to leave your house. You can stay in your jammies all day if you want. It does take quite a while to write one. Write it, edit it, get it published. It's kind of a little bit crazy. And we love you too, Miss Ann. We do. We have so much fun. So, guys, I appreciate you. Can I add the link in the description too? If you go to, you'll actually, the link is in I did a Facebook post on my page. It's on my page, and there's a link in that. I did that yesterday. It's at the very top of my page. I will actually pin this. I'll pin it right now. I'll pin that post. So if you look at the pinned post on my Facebook page, you will see that there. Okay. All right, guys. But you should be able to nab it out of the comments. All right. So I so let's see here. So Kelly, it's on a Saturday. So if you're not working on Saturday, then you're in good shape. But if you're working on Saturday, you may not work so well. All right, guys, I have nothing else for you today. Send in your questions for next week. And I will have an announcement for you next week. So at least I hope so. So thank you much. We'll talk. Yes, and the recording is good for a year. So I mean, you can go back and watch us at your leisure where you're not stressed. So you don't have to watch us live. You may prefer to watch us not live. So you can fast forward through any silliness that we do. All right, guys. Y'all have a great rest of your week, and I will see you next week. Bye bye.